Abbott. Joining me now is Sean Spicer, Communications Director for the Republican National Committee. Sean, good to have you with us. Let me just ask you this. You know, Abbott there as you know, when he was talking to reporters and Ed Lavandera found him, he said there are, on the campaign issue, will he campaign with Ted Nugent? There's no plans to do that. No, we don't have any plans to campaign with him. I mean, that's a pretty direct answer, but it's not, I'm just never going to campaign with this guy again. I learned my lesson. Why won't he go that far?
I'm sort of stunned about how obsessed there has been about Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent is a hard conservative that speaks to a good number of people that follow him. He's a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. He's a strong supporter of conservation. He has a huge following. People, especially in Texas and other places in the West where he has his following is, obviously would like to have him their support. He has said some things that he admits were wrong. Greg Abbott admits they're wrong. I mean, I'm a little baffled by the week-long controversy over some comments that were made, in the sense that you look down the Democratic side, and Senator Harry Reid called President Bush a liar. One of their candidates called our candidate Adolf Hitler. Vice President Biden called Republicans, Tea Party Republicans, terrorists. And yet there was no similar outrage about whether they were going to continue to campaign with Harry Reid or the vice president. And yet, so it's almost a total double standard in the media when it comes to people on the right who equally say that. Let me be very clear, and I don't think that level of discourse has a place. I think we can have significant policy differences between the parties, but that doesn't mean. But for some reason, when guys on the right say something, it takes days and weeks of media coverage. When folks on the left do it, it's sort of fodder. I mean, Harry Reid on the floor.
I see your point. All right, I see your point. These people say these things, and I'm going to agree with you. I think they're horrible. I don't think they should be said. Ted Nugent raised the point that Bill Maher had also used the C word, in his case to refer to Sarah Palin, and Ted Nugent's to refer to Hillary Clinton. Both of them are vulgar and disgusting and should never be used ever, okay? So that is my belief. But it does seem to me that when you have words like that consistently coming out of someone's mouth, you said it yourself, he has a huge following and he's very powerful. All right, that's why people want to be seen with him. And yet when someone says that, the only way to get them to stop would be other Republicans saying, you know what? It's not worth it to us. We don't think this is right. So instead of saying, well, Democrats do this, what about answering the direct question of why can't Republicans, including the ones we called Abbott, Perry, Cruz, Cornyn, Stockman, Gohmert, Poe, Hensarling, none of them have agreed to comment to us on this issue?
That's not true. I mean, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, I think I've read all of their comments where they disagree.
Very aggressively so, without being asked. Came out on Twitter and said it was inappropriate.
Right. And Ted Cruz was asked about it and said the very similar things that he didn't think that
he say that he wouldn't campaign with him again. He didn't say, I'll punish this, or I'm not going to be associated with it. He said, that's a problem, but I'm not going to say I won't go out with that person again.
Right, but first of all, why does they made a mistake? He used words that I agree, you agree, I think everybody agrees, and frankly Ted Nugent said I'm not going to use those name-calling words anymore. He agrees, and now it's suddenly the standard is, okay, no one can ever be seen with Ted Nugent again.
Well, in the next sentence after he said that,
he
called him a liar, and then he called him a racist the next day.
Right. And Harry Reid called President Bush a liar over and over again, and nobody ever asked Democrats why they would stop campaigning with Harry Reid or whether he had to apologize. It's somehow acceptable on the left. And frankly, and again, I'll be clear, all of it is I think that there is no need to get into personal name-calling when we have significant policy differences that can be debated. Right. And I think, frankly, on our side, I'd rather get into that. But there is this standard where when they say it on their side, no one seems to ask the same question. Why aren't people asking, why are you campaigning with Harry Reid? Just yesterday on the Senate floor, he said that everybody who has a problem with Obamacare, Aaron, everyone who has a problem with Obamacare is a liar.
Look,
so if you have a problem, you're a liar.
Point, Sean. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I hear your point about that. But I also think that you guys have to directly answer the question instead of just saying, well, they don't, they do it too, or yeah, he calls someone names too. Anyway, next, Jeannie Mo.